can you explain what the role of lead cricket operations actually involves in a franchise like Delhi Capitals Women?
So our role, in fact, then gets amplified even more, and the operations team becomes a very critical factor on a daily basis for the team to function. Because you follow a schedule through the 40-day long tournament. The importance of sports science, the importance of nutrition, the importance of education without sacrificing, that aspect for the athletes, which is so important. That culture and DC as a family is what keeps us going, and I think that's something that we are really proud of.
One young WPL player you think fans should keep an eye on?
We've got a very exciting talent in Diya Yadav. I think she's got a double hundred just very recently again. At 16 years old, the kind of skills that she has is incredible.
Hello and welcome to another episode of SD Dugout. In the world of league cricket, everything looks fast-paced on the field. But a lot that is made possible by the work happening behind the scenes from the operations teams. Today we are joined by Ankul Shilotri, lead operations at Delhi Capitals. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Pranvit. Thank you for having me here. Pleasure to be here.
Likewise, sir. So we'll start with this. So, how did your journey into sports operations begin? Was working in professional sports always the plan, or did it happen organically?
I think sport is always close to me because I used to play cricket growing up professionally. I have represented my state at age group levels.
Okay.
I'm from Mumbai, so I've played some state level cricket for Mumbai at the age group level. I had to give up playing cricket at a very young age due to an injury. And ever since after that, the natural transition or progression for me from playing the sport was to getting into sport. And I'm talking about probably 15 years back. The industry was still growing in the country. But I was very clear that one thing I want to do is get into sport. And that's how, I think it was. I didn't really come up with a rigid plan to work in sport operations, if you see. But I think what I started sensing ever since when I gave up playing cricket, what I started seeing was the gaps from as a cricketer. So probably I started thinking like a management person, what I would have done, what if I was a player, then what is it that I would have needed. So I think that ability to maybe think as a cricketer as well as a management person is what pushed me towards doing sport. And I was quite clear that I want to be on the ops side of sport, wherein I can contribute both ways, bring my thoughts into a lot of decision making as a cricketer as well, and then with my managerial skills and my management skill also think on the lines of a proper operations guy.
Okay, so that's very inspiring that you didn't let the cricket go away from you.
Yeah, I think to be honest, cricket came to me at a very later stage. Initially, my first ever opportunity came into. I did a very short project with NDTV.
Okay.
It was called the Toyota University Cricket Championships, and that was my first real assignment after I completed my MBA. Obviously, cricket, when it took a backseat, I had to focus on my studies and then getting into the management and the managerial side of things. So, I think the Toyota University Cricket Championships, as once it was, it used to happen. I'm talking about 2012-13 year. That was my first real foray into sport. That project kind of gave me a lot of perspectives into what goes on running the entire league, be it production, be it operations, be it marketing. The smalls you start noticing because when it's your first assignment, you're very inquisitive to know what is happening, how do you do this, how do you do that, how does the production control room work. So I really got an experience of working across all the departments pretty early. and that helped
Okay.
me, even be more sure about getting into the ops side of things. That because I could get a sense check of each departments and how they function, and I think with my I felt like my the skill sets that I have. I thought I might be a very good fit for in the ops department.
Okay. So that's nice, sir. So you started your journey in operations with JSW, right?
Yes, I did.
So which is associated with Bengaluru FC.
Yes.
So what were the some of the key lessons from working in a football ecosystem early in your career?
I think the first thing that we wanted to do, the Indian football back then was on the rise.
Yeah.
So we wanted to the biggest exposure or the biggest experience there that I took away or I got exposed to is what we wanted to set up a very European style football culture and professionalism. Have the best coaches, have the best facilities for the players, bring in a very very professional approach to football in India, and we've all followed football teams. We've all, I was lucky that I had such a great bunch of co-workers around me who essentially were translating our passion into working. So work
Okay.
never felt like work. It was like going out there. You're essentially growing up watching, so many leagues around the world, following sport. So it just at times it just felt too surreal to one day, you're there setting up one of the football clubs, you're setting up the operations side, how it works, how player signings work, how dealing with agents, dealing with their contracts, sorting everything out for them, first operationally and then technically also. So it was fantastic. It enabled me. What I could take away from there is season long planning, because used to run through the season with absolute structured home and away format.
Okay.
So to create a fan base, how do you get the fans to engage and make Indian football cool? Like wearing an Indian football club jersey also had to be like a cool thing to do, because everyone
Yeah.
used to see people on the streets wearing all European style jerseys going out. So how do we? So it was a very exciting and thrilling project to be a part of, and it actually taught me, and the foundation were laid working there, because it's a different ball game. Be it working on budgets, be it setting in budgets for the year, running it on those budgets, because you're going into pretty much an unknown.
Yeah.
You've just established a football club, so you're trying to use all your learnings, all your whatever your knowledge, you're putting it into it. And yeah, it was a very very fun ride, I must say.
That is nice, sir. So you later went on to work with the Inspire Institute of Sport on projects connected to the Olympic sports.
Yes.
So what kind of exposure did that phase give you?
So I think in JSW initially they had just started. I was at NDTV, and then when I got to know that's when I had applied for the role, and they
Okay.
were just getting into sport in a very big way. Football club being one of them. There was obviously the Inspire Institute of Sport was an idea then, which eventually I transitioned from working on the football club to then going in, because I was already handling buying. With my role was like a multi dimensional role where I used to do football.
Okay.
I used to also handle the Olympic discipline. There was a program that was running which supported Olympic athletes. So
Okay.
I was working on certain aspects of the football club. I was also working on the Olympic program, and when this was greenlit, the management showed tremendous faith in me to go and deliver the project for them. So while I was doing operation project management is something that I also got to learn while on the job. You always get taught about project management
Yeah.
colleges, but you're just a young kid who has just come out of college. I was just getting to get so much of experience and so much of learning at a very initial stage of my career. wherein I got to then lead everything right from breaking the land to constructing the first road to laying the foundation. I was deep
Okay.
in the IIS, right from setting it up, from the design stage to the execution stage and then the operation stage. So essentially, what it takes to set up a high performance sport environment is something that I learned, because you had to not just set up the project, if I can say, you also had to start working on athlete development pathways, identifying talent, bringing those athletes in to the institute. We had to run a holistic program wherein
Okay.
the importance of sports science, the importance of nutrition, the importance of education without sacrificing, that aspect for the athletes, which is so important. Like you would know, there are so many athletes around the world that, or even in India, that are competing, but not everyone makes it to the big stage. So we want
Yeah.
them to walk out as great, great individuals. So it was a holistic development plan. So how do we set that up? So it was had to bring a lot of elements in to set up the project, and again, you are planning this in such a different way, because in football you're planning it seasonally, but for an Olympic discipline you're planning, say, 2 years and 4 years. You're essentially
Yeah.
looking at the Commonwealth and the Asian Games and then the Olympics. So the planning part also changes. The athlete development plan changes. The athlete performance plan changes. So it was to have that exposure to see an athlete develop from a young age to then represent the country. That was very satisfying.
Yeah. It showed like what kind of exposure you got for working there.
So that just gave me an understanding to in sport in general,
Yeah.
in a very large way, that what are the challenges that players face, what is it that, how can we be better, how can we keep improving, how can we provide them the best available opportunity, and that helps you grow as an individual, right? When you work in challenging environments, it's always going to get the best out of you. I think as sports people, if sport teaches you anything, it's that you're going to grow as an individual, you're going to grow professionally when you know you
Yeah.
can handle pressure, be it if you're playing the sport or if you're working on the other side of sport. The ability to handle pressure is what starts defining you, and then it was fantastic to actually see even Neeraj was training so many medalists. I mean, I don't want to name a few, but
Okay.
many of our Indian medalists ended up training there. I got a chance to work with them. So yeah, it gave me a perspective about how you can actually make a difference to sport in India.
That's nice, sir. So, before working with Delhi Capitals and moving to cricket operations, you worked at BCCI also as a project manager. So, can you tell us about that work?
Actually, we had a stint with Delhi Capitals before that. Uh,
Okay.
so I transitioned from IIS to Delhi for a year, and then went to the BCCI, where the new Center of Excellence is something that the BCCI wanted to develop in Bangalore. Obviously, went through
Oh,
the interview process, and I was given the opportunity to head that project as well as a project manager, and it was brilliant. I mean, the experience of working with uh, everyone, the experience of working with you got to, at the end, I was then eventually working with people who you've seen growing up, who you were idolizing on players, and next day you're just there working with them. So that was amazing. I got to work across the domestic cricket, which has always been very close to me, because I think helping domestic, or not helping, I think helping would be the wrong way, but there's so much potential in domestic cricket, and that's something that player development and is something that's always been close to me. So uh, with my previous or rather how I am, I feel that you can add a lot more when you are working on the
yeah.
grassroots growing up. And I think once you address that problem and you start creating a pipeline of players with your operational expertise and what is it that is required for a player to excel at a higher stage, I think that gives you, I mean, that gives me maximum satisfaction at the end of the day. So yeah, so BCCI was uh, great. I got to work across all the association,
Oh, nice.
worked with multiple stakeholders. A lot of these leagues, running those leagues in COVID when there were so many challenges happening around the world,
Yeah.
opening the domestic cricket, then running it successfully. So it teaches you a lot. It helps you grow as a person. It was one of the most challenging times when we executed that, and I think it helped me grow as a professional as well. It just gave me a lot of confidence of dealing in such pressure situations, because you are in the company of the unknown, right? No one knew what's going to happen. So yeah, it was great. I mean, setting up the COE from scratch again, uh, it, and very grateful for the BCCI to give me that opportunity to uh, lead a prestigious project like that.
You had a role in building that BCCI COE.
Yeah, it's that's something that's always going to be close to me, and I think I had to move to Delhi, and that's when DC and DC when DC came along, I had to move to Delhi. So that's how after almost 3 years at the BCCI, came back here for a second stint at Delhi Capitals. And yeah, so far it's been really great being back.
That's nice. So you just told like you started your journey with DC in 2019 and then rejoined again in
Yeah,
2023, I guess. So what made you come back again?
I think I had really strong working relationship with the entire management, the ownership group, the cricket operations team.
Nice.
Uh, so I think it was very it felt like you're just coming back home, or it
Oh,
felt like you are, and they welcomed me again with open arms, and they it was it was the major important factor, and one of the key things that attracted me was the opportunity to work in the WPL as well. Women's cricket, I think, is something that's going to grow exponentially in the country and in the world as well. And I think that is something that I've worked at the women's cricket level, at the grassroots level as well. With during
nice.
my time at the BCCI, I got to work on the senior women's nationals and on the senior women's T20 tournaments and one-day tournaments from a venue point of view. So that really allowed me, and working at the NCA, seeing those training programs of players coming in, I think that's something that I developed a real likeness towards, or growing the sport, growing the women's game. And I think that was one of the attractions that got me here, saying, I can actually come in and contribute with my expertise, with the knowledge of the women's game, having worked in the women's set, or seen the women's setup, or seen the players coming through the pipeline. Uh, so yeah, I think it's been good. It was a system where I thought that I can actually come in and make a difference and contribute with my expertise.
That's really nice. You came back home.
Yeah, it's that feeling, and I think Delhi again. I lived here for a brief while when I was with NDTV. Then I was with DC again. Then I went away and I've come back.
Okay.
Been here 3 years now. So yeah, I think there's a special connection with the city.
Delhi won't leave you, sir. Okay. So for fans who only see matches and auctions, so can you explain what the role of lead cricket operations actually involves in a franchise like Delhi Capitals Women? So like arranging travel and accommodation.
I think to put it very simply, our job is everything that can allow the players to only think about cricket. You know,
Okay.
let me just put it like that. Like we have to do everything which will enable for the players to just get up and say, okay, I want to train, and not having to worry about the
Yeah.
smallest of the smallest thing. And I think the attention to detail there is what, like I mentioned earlier, having played the sport, you exactly know what the player is looking for, and that really helps. It comes down to annual budgeting, be it the operations budget, be it the travel and logistics, which hotel to stay, which ground to train, how do you want to train, what the practice schedules should look like. It covers everything. It's not just the on ground part, but back of the to set up the what is it that the performance team is going to need to excel at their level. What is it that's going to need the management team, because you're the integral cog here. You're the conduit
Yeah.
between players and the office. So our role, in fact, then gets amplified even more, and the operations team becomes a very critical factor for on a daily basis for the team to function, because you follow a schedule through the 40-day long tournament, be it your preseason, be it your end season,
Yeah.
and it gets intertwined with everything, and that's the fun part. It's a challenging part, but it's also a fun part, that it gets intertwined with marketing, it gets intertwined with sponsorships, it gets intertwined with appearances, it gets intertwined with training, and you have to find the right balance to say that all your targets are met, all your appearance, all your delivery, all your sponsorship is met, all the marketing expectation is met, all the sponsorship expectation is met, without compromising on the cricket. So
Ah.
so it's to find that balance. I think that's what is cricket operations, wherein the players, you feel that the players should not be burnt out. You want the players to be fresh to play a game, but at the same time, you also need to understand the other commercial responsibilities that come with it. So how do you balance that? It's a lot. It gets a lot more in. The details get finer and finer as you go into it. But yeah, as an ops person, you have to be switched on for 40 days. There's no room for any slack. There's no room for anyone to cool off or say, oh, probably the team might have an off day, but you're always on duty. On your off day, you're essentially planning what are you going to do the next day, or the following day, or the next week. So yeah, you are literally looking at even baggage transfer. That's such
Oh.
a small element which a turnaround
Yeah.
time, wherein you're essentially traveling and playing the next day. So it's critical that players have their kit bags there. There's no, all the equipment is there, all their luggages are there. How do you plan that? How do you ensure that um, they're just getting into a plane, they're landing to another city, they're going to their hotels, and everything's there for them, as opposed to waiting for what's happening, where are my bags coming, where is my kit bag, has it reached the ground or no. You don't want to give them any sort of you at in those 40 days, you want the players to just focus in their game. You want the players to not think about anything. You just want the players to think about how to win. You want how to get their game better at, and that's where ops has to shoulder the responsibility of ensuring all of this runs in a very smooth way.
I think it's a very tough job which always gets unnoticed.
I think it's not a tough job. I think I wouldn't say it's a tough. I think every job's. I would say it's a challenging and a fun
Oh,
job.
yeah.
Uh, it's really exciting. It's everything, but it's there is you at times you have to carry you have to lift bags. Uh, you have to go to the ground and mark the ground if anyone's not ready. So you always, as an operations person, you always have to have plan A, plan B, plan C, even plan D ready. So
Okay.
anything can go wrong. There you are training at the ground and the light does go off. You're training at the ground and there's a water line burst and the water and the ground's flooded. You can't train anymore. What are your if something goes wrong? What is my next backup? Can I fix it? So it's your brain is constantly ticking. Even when everything is going smooth, you're actually next day thinking, okay, if something uh, doesn't go our way, what are we doing? What is our next option? So yeah, it's it's a lot of it's not just execution. A lot of people feel operations is just execution, but no, it's a lot of planning. It's a
Yeah.
lot of planning. it's a lot of strategic planning, and then being ready with. You always prepare for the worst case scenario, and then being ready with your options in case, on an off day a player might come and say, probably I didn't have a great hit, I want to go and train in the nets, and you've not informed anyone saying, everyone's off there, no one's on the ground, but suddenly you have players wanting to go and have a hit at the ground. What are you going to do then? So these things you have to be ready. You have to be on the toes at all times.
Have you been in a similar situation when a player like gets to you like I want to train off the schedule?
It has. I mean, it has happened. But at the same, I mean, as you start, when you start gaining experience, when you start seeing what happens, because you get to know the ethos of a player as an operations person, being so close to the team that what can come your way. So essentially, you factor all of that in. So like our off day is never an off day. Like I said, we are always there. Like a lot of when there is a day off, I think everyone just takes their time off. Maybe go to a coffee shop, go watch a film. Get some downtime, because that's also equally important. It can't just be intense. So we also get our time off, but at the same time, if any of such requests come in, we know what we want to do. We have a backup ready, and we have signed. We normally, or rather, that's the way to go about it. You normally have a backup plan ready in case such requests are thrown your way at the last minute. So it's factored in. I mean, it's not there in the document somewhere, but in your head, you know that this might come up, and you are prepared for that eventuality.
Okay. And do you guys like also involved at making recreational activities off the field for the players?
That's very important. In fact, that everyone, like I said, that you need to give time off to the players. It can't be so much only cricket without any time off from the everyday hustle. So we do plan some fun stuff, get them together in a very informal way, be it dinners, be it some games, be it at a gaming arcade. So we do plan such days but you need to refine when do you want to do it?
Yeah.
What stage of the tournament do you want to do it, or what stage of the season do you want to do it? But these days are important, and these are definitely something that we factor in, wherein everyone just gets to know each other a little lot better. It's not only getting up and playing cricket, but you also get to know the person and how they are, because it's a team that stays together for a long time. You create some really amazing bonds in those 40 days. So yeah, I think it's a great place to be.
Now it like feels it is a very fun and loving job.
It always looks like it is a fun. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of planning. It's a fun job. I mean, like I said, when you're doing something you love, it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
It feels like you've just gotten up and you just got on with life every day. You're not drained. And I was like probably lucky to convert my passion into a profession of playing the sport and now being so close to it. So even if it's on a Sunday, even if it's on a Saturday, and if work comes up, it doesn't feel like, it's like, yeah, okay, I'm getting to do cricket. I mean, what else do you want? You're waking up one day morning and you're going to the ground. That's something that we always dreamt of growing up, saying, "Arey, Sunday उठ के match खेलने चलते हैं," or Saturday you play a game with the friends. Now you're on the other side, but you're still on the ground doing the same things that you would have done. So it gives you a lot of satisfaction.
And I think this is a dream job of every Indian cricket fan.
I think so.
So the league cricket involves constant traveling and tight schedules. So what are some biggest logistic challenges you face during the tournament?
The logistics challenges?
Yeah.
I think what happens is mainly, it's the logistics challenges would be like, just about how do you get the baggage out, how do you get the baggage, like I mentioned earlier.
Yeah, yeah,
Because we are you plan, you like I said, you plan for an eventuality, in terms, if what if this doesn't go your way, or plan A doesn't go your way. So it actually the some of at times, like we were uh, you are going to the ground and your kit has not reached, right? I was in that situation once upon a time where we have left from the hotel to go to the ground to train, and the kit bags have left from the airport to come to the ground. So we
oh,
had to ensure that the bags reach. So
then what happened?
no, so these things, I mean, it did. I mean, but you factor, like I said,
Yeah,
you factor those things in, that essentially in case of a delay, because you can't control if a flight's delayed or due to weather, you can't really control with what is force majeure, right? It can be raining. So you try and plan ahead, you try and get it, but even if it's delayed, we work with a certain level of buffer. If say, if I have to give you an example, that say the bags were to fly out on a cargo at a certain flight at 10 o'clock in the morning, that gets delayed and it doesn't take off before 1 o'clock.
yeah,
So we know that the fact that we are training at 6, so even if the bags leave at 2 o'clock, they'll be here. So you get that little you get a little tensed about what's going to happen, but we've factored the buffer in. We factored the element of delays in. Even despite that, if something goes wrong, then you can't control that, right? But when you're planning, you actually factor those small incidents in place.
okay. And how early does the planning for the next WPL season and auction begin once the season ends?
I think it begins the day you played your last game, because next day morning you're talking about what do you want to do, how do you want to get, what do we, what sort of players do you want to bring in, what sort of players are out there that we missed out on, who are coming up, because there's so much of supply now. The talent pool is getting so strong that
Yeah,
there are so many players that you want to bring everyone in, but there's a squad size that doesn't allow you to. So you have to keep a tab on them. I think that's where our scouting comes into place very early. And like I said, it has to start at a very young age. If you have proper systems at your age group level, growing up to the senior cricket, in so we actually start tracking a player's performance as early as an under 15, under 16 age group. The women's
okay.
performing at that level, to see how they are transitioning, because you need to keep a check on how they are going about in every age group. If someone's getting runs at a junior level, is she transitioning at a teen level, is she transitioning at a adult level, is she transitioning with the senior level? So you keep, if you see a bright spark, you actually follow the entire journey of the player from a very young age to till the time you think that you can actually bring them into this franchise. So our work essentially is through the year, while in season you are only focused on
Yeah,
the league at hand, but in the background there is always the team that is working on this constant information coming. There's so much cricket happening that we are, like, right now also we are all there's a lot of scouting going on in the back end, where we are keeping an eye on the players that are coming out through the pipeline, who can add value to the team.
okay. And how do teams balance data analytics and scouting reports versus the brand value of a player when selecting the players at the auction table?
I would say that essentially the data reports, and there's something called as the eye test also, where you actually go and see the player. Yes, there are numbers to back in it, but you're focusing on a lot of things. You're looking at match awareness, you're looking at game sense, you're looking at situations that the player is playing those knocks in. There's so many, the opposition, you're analyzing the opposition, and seeing what sort of bowlers has he got. So there's so many finer details into scouting that you're looking at with the reports that you have, which then kind of, it validates your point to what you've seen about the player when you have the numbers to back in it. But at times, there's a mismatch with the numbers and what you've seen on ground, and then that becomes an absolute judgment call. And that's where, you as a scout need to believe in the player. You need to believe your instinct. You need to back your instincts. You need to back your skills in terms of what you've seen in the player. Because
Yeah.
at times you might not have the numbers with the kind of for a player that you've got really impressed of, but the numbers don't match. And that's when, the conviction that you have over that player, and the conviction that you have upon yourself on about that player, and about your skills of scouting these players, and scouting and judgment, and player, and the pathways that you think you can set up for this player to enhance his skill set to allow him to play at the highest level. I think that comes down to uh, scouting, if I have to put in one way, and the conviction that goes beyond it. To answer your second question, I think that becomes a secondary course of decision making. I think you want to first see what skill set adds value to the team. You want to see adding that skill set is going to enhance the starting 11 of your team a lot more. You're focused on all at that moment of time. You're focused on bettering your playing 11, and how is that or bettering your squad for that matter.
Okay.
So, I mean, whether brand value of a player, yes, if the player is great and we feel that this certain player that is available and is going to make the player better, then, brand value, it comes naturally with it. But you don't
Yeah.
really get into, say, if I have a team which I have 6 fast bowlers, but there's a 7th fast bowler that's available who has a certain, but that's not going to make my team better. You always try and plug the gaps that you feel that
Yeah.
you have in your squad, and what is it that you can make your squad better. So the brand value of it at that point, at that juncture, doesn't is not a mandated thing, or is not a first point is what you're thinking. But like I said, if there's a gap that this player can certainly fill and has a great band, it's like a win-win situation.
Okay. And how important is domestic cricket becoming as a scouting ground for franchise leagues today?
No, it's absolutely becoming. It's been very integral to. We've seen so many players over the WPL also coming out of nowhere, representing the country. This shows the talent that's coming out and the pipeline that's been created due to the fantastic work that everyone has put in at the BCCI with the opportunities that all the players have got through to excel and to show their talent. Our jobs becomes easier when there's so much talent coming in. We try and cover all matches. The level of cricket is just peaked with the WPL, especially of the women's game. You would have seen as a fan, it's grown exponentially from when it started to where it is today.
Yeah, no doubt.
High scores are being chased down, high scores are being set. Everyone's batting at a certain strike rate, so you already see the development and the way the game's progressed, and it's only going to go up. And that's due to a very strong domestic structure that's been put in. And then for us, it's about going and maximizing that. I mean, we're going there and we're trying to do to the best of our abilities to try and find that player, that final piece of the jigsaw that you need to make your squad better, or the directions that you get from the coaches, from your management, about the kind of player that they're looking at, or the kind of player that the coach wants in the team. And then your basing your judgment basis what has been relayed down to you by the coaching staff, saying, this is the level of skill, or this is the skill set that I'm looking at to bring into my squad. I want to see more of such players. And then you go and get these players in. You do a proper a trial program where you invite all of them, and then you pit them in different scenarios, you pit them in different situations, you pit them in against different strategies, different bowlers, so many parameters that. But then you leave it to the coaching staff. As once you've identified someone, what they do in that trial, how they perform in that trial, then you leave it to the coaches to make the best judgment. And and then it comes down to the fact that the coach has conviction on, and then we go back starting our planning in terms of how the options are going to work, because that's another dynamic that comes into the picture anyway.
Yeah.
So you always have options, you always keep options, you always try and find similar players, because the best case scenario is for you to get the talent that you want in the auction. But what if you don't? So again, like I said, you're actually using your operations as a skill set in the technical aspects as well, because you have to have a plan A, B, C.
Yeah.
Whether either while you're trying to sign players in the auctions, you're trying to identify talent, or you're doing your everyday team operations, you always are into the fundas are clear. It's plan A, B, C. So you are just adapting it to different scenarios. You're adapting it to your day-to-day management, or your
Okay.
day-to-day operations work, or you're adapting it to your day-to-day scouting work. But the fundas are clear. It's so it gets intertwined, gets interlinked. So once the foundation of what you want to do or what you are as an operations person, once that's set in, everything else is just adapting. You're just customizing it to the field you want to try and execute this at.
Okay. That's nice. So that's so insightful. And how different are operations for WPL compared to the IPL?
The tournament being shorter, you're housed at the travel is not as much as the IPL.
Yeah.
But you're playing a match every day. So or your training grounds, it has its own different set of challenges. But the WPL actually allows you to. It's mainly managing the equipment movement on a day-to-day basis. The IPL gets extensive with the travel, because you're essentially on a flight. The every second day you play an away game. It's the away games here are not as much. Like
Yeah.
even the season that just concluded, we were in Mumbai for a considerable amount of time before we went to Baroda and then we were housed at one place for a lot of time. So once everything reaches there, your job then is about running it properly on an everyday basis. Whereas
Okay.
IPL, with everything that goes on, you're literally away game is not where you can just it's like you're playing the game and traveling the next day, and then you're either coming back or going to another city. So it presents its
Yeah.
different challenges. WPL for now being a very a two city model or three city model that's been happened in the past, it gives you that breathing time. You can plan your logistics a lot better. You have some after traveling to another city, you have some time before you play the next game. So it gives you some time to get everything in place. IPL is more dynamic. If I have to like put it in one word, it's a lot more dynamic in nature as compared to the WPL
Yeah.
when it comes to the operational challenges.
Okay. So we'll just come back like with the Delhi Capitals have been one of the strongest teams in the WPL. So finishing runners up every season. So how do you see WPL final challenge and how is the team motivated for the next season?
I think if I have to just put this I'll probably rephrase this in the other way. You know, it just shows you the kind of system we have put in place, right? Yes, we've not crossed the line and we've not won the final, but just shows you that to come in every year,
Yeah.
show up every year, make the final every year. It shows that the foundations that we've laid at the franchise is so strong that it's almost like the expectation now is for Delhi to play the final, and that is something that I believe that winning the game on one day, not winning the game on one day is something that you can't control. But what we can control as operations people is the foundation that you lay in as a cricket operation, what culture you're establishing in the team, what template is everyone following, how's the environment that you're setting up, what are the opportunity. And like I said previously as well, our jobs is to ensure that the players have everything to excel, and it just shows that we've managed to put in a very strong foundation to
Yeah.
make these four finals in a row. So I think that's one thing. It's consist the that's one thing that very proud of, that we were able to achieve the consistency of
Yeah.
showing up every year, delivering. We weren't in the best of situations when the first leg finished this year in Mumbai, but we came back. We played the final. We had to play the eliminator, but we still managed to play. So it shows, the team, the way the team is set up, the way the group is, and this is despite us assembling a new squad, right, to make four continuous final with a new squad again, with the mega
Yeah.
concluded. It gives you great satisfaction to see that whatever systems you've put in place as a cricket ops person is something that's actually translating into practice, barring that final game. And we'll get there one day, but it just shows that how consistency triumphs, a lot of it gives the players, not probably not triumph, but it gives the players that calmness, that assurance, that the team, if we're going to show up every year, we're going to fight every year. The processes that we've put every are the same every year. So yes, we not it's tough to be on the other side of the final, but it also validates the great work that the franchise has done in creating that environment and that culture, that habit of making finals. It's a very difficult habit
Yeah.
to cultivate, right? To For a team to say, you probably lose a final and come back, and then again come lose a final and again come back and keep coming back. I think that just speaks a lot about how the team is. The ability to just keep bouncing back despite that and keep showing up. That's most important. And yeah, I think one day we will cross the line.
Yeah. Day is not far. Delhi Capitals will win the
Yeah,
WPL.
absolutely. I think it'll come. It's consistency. Like I said, consistency
Yeah,
uh,
exactly.
is the key. You be consistent. You stay true to what you're doing. You stay true to the processes and the systems and the and all your and create the right environment, create the right balance, create an atmosphere where everyone can succeed and feel welcome, feel warm, feel safe to come and just perform to their best of their abilities. I think it'll fall in place one day.
And the team has always shown intent.
Yeah, the teams always show, like, it's very important, right? Like, at you so many times, like, if you lose a final, to come back again to that with all the emotions that go into losing that game, but again coming back every year, putting yourself in that area of giving yourself another shot of winning the
Yeah.
championship is also very difficult. So I mean, for us, as like I said, as crick ops people, we can't influence the result of the game, but we can take great learnings, and we can be rest assured that you feel satisfied that whatever systems and cultures you've created, whatever facilities or whatever opportunities that you're allowing uh, your players, or you're giving your players, is actually helping them perform so well at that level, despite all the challenges that we faced to come back. I think that shows character. Coming back, showing up, fighting through difficult times shows character, and the team has character. So quite hopeful to see what we do for the season ahead.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Delhi Capitals will
Absolutely.
be on the other side in there next
Absolutely.
season.
Absolutely. Hopefully 2027 we bring it home.
So, Delhi Capitals women has always brought several young players like Shri Charani in 2025 auction. Now, in 2026 auction, the team brought Diya Yadav, who became the youngest player in WPL,
Yeah.
and Nandini Sharma, who
Yeah.
went on to win the emerging player.
Yeah.
So, how important is scouting and talent identification for the women's team?
I think it's the backbone of every team. It's 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 very important to have a very strong system in place. Like I said, there are so many great players coming in, but you have to have that conviction. I think all players that you mentioned, they were all on our radars for some time, and when we got the opportunity to bring them in, we brought them in at the first instance. And it's just this work that we try and put behind the scenes through the year with our scouting, being going and spending hours watching their game, probably seeing how they are like I told you, like how are they playing different scenarios, what is their game awareness, what is their technical awareness, how are they within the dressing room, because you're trying to find that, you're trying to find players that are also contributing to that culture that you've set up. That's,
Yeah.
you're constantly on the lookout to someone who brings that energy into the team. So when when we saw them and we really scouted them for a year, they were at our trials every year, uh, and when the opportunity presented with the mega auction, and when they were available, I think we jumped on the opportunity right away, and so far we've been able to, whichever the talent that we managed to get in, especially the uncapped players, have gone on to uh, represent the India A side or even the main team in the same
Yeah.
year that they've played the WPL. So, like I said, that shows that whatever systems and processes and the parameters that we've put for our scouting is pretty strong, and it is pretty it's pretty it's consistent with the results that you're getting with the players that you're bringing into the team. It just validates all your efforts of bringing this down, because scouting gets so vast. There's so many
Yeah.
parameters that they can get judged in. How do you narrow it down? What do we narrow it down to? What are the things that you think, oh, probably this is something that something is 50%, but okay, can that 50% be taken to 90%? How much will that have an impact on the what we are selecting? To narrow it down to parameters, saying okay, it's finally come down to zero point 0.1, zero point 0.2, zero point 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, and how do those fit? So I think we've brought that down really nicely. Our the way we go about selecting players or identifying players or targeting players in the auction, the way we've brought that down, saying okay, if person is passing all these 5 points is something that we should be on our radar. I think we've managed to do that really well.
That's nice, sir. And I think the time is not far. Delhi Capitals women's will getting a tag of unofficial Indian scouting team. Like you guys giving a
Well,
platform to
that's a
the Indian
huge
women players.
compliment. But it's we are happy to contribute to the franchise, and obviously the larger goal is obviously the national team. We
Yeah,
want, like we want to try and identify as many, give so many girls the opportunity to come and excel, and uh, whatever step it helps us to first help Delhi Cap and then eventually help the country to win and to keep winning accolades at the international level. So I think yeah, long road ahead. We've just started. It's been 3 years, so hopefully many more to come from the DC scouting team.
no doubt, sir. It will. So, where do you see franchise cricket evolving in the next 10 years, and how will the role of operations manager change in future?
I think franchise cricket's already on the rise. You see so many leagues coming up. I mean, 5 years back, you probably had two or three. Now you have players almost playing every month, and there's another league happening. So there's already on the rise. Uh, with the women's, you had the first ever auctions of the women's 100. So you see where the cricket it's changing. The landscape is changing, and it's very heartening to see that so many leagues coming forward. There's a league that's happening in Australia, the WBBL, the WPL. There's it's only on the rise, and it's only going to keep growing. I think it's a lot got to do with the franchise network. Also, everyone has put in,
Yeah,
right? It's created an ecosystem in itself wherein players are playing with the same set of players through the season, coming back playing the Indian league, be it the overseas league. It's I think and the people have received it really well. You so many so many fans now watching leagues, knowing players from different parts of the world, knowing the WCPL happening, and which are the players there, which are the players in the WPVL, which are the players in the WPL, the 100 now. So it's heartening to see when you have these conversations with people that within your or even within your, be it your friends, be it your family, taking a keen interest. It just shows that how uh, franchise cricket has changed a lot of things with the reach that they have, with the fan network that they have, with the digital engagement that they're doing. On how many digital platforms being so critical in
Yeah.
promoting the other leagues. So I think it's only going to grow. The operations managers uh, are only going to get more and more opportunities as this expands. Uh, there's a league, there's a European league that has been announced very recently as well.
Yeah.
So it's cricket 12 months a year. So I think everyone who's looking at getting into this should be very, very excited with the opportunities that will be presented to them in the coming years, and not just operations, be it the entire sports in itself is now becoming an ecosystem. you,
Exactly.
you had your marketing, your finance, and now you have sports, under which this marketing, finance, everything gets
Yeah.
integrated into. So it's almost established itself as a separate route or a profession, and so many young passionate sports enthusiasts taking up sports as a career now. I mean, we could only dream of doing this one day, or working in this one day, and
Yeah.
it's come into the country with the expansion of so much leagues. I think the opportunities are just going to come in thick and fast. I think everyone just needs to keep working and keep working hard. And yeah, I think the landscape is going to change in a very, very big way for all the operations managers and all the sports management enthusiasts.
Yes, sir. We can see that in the future. Okay. So we'll move to the next segment, rapid fire. You have to answer as quick as possible.
Okay, I'll try.
Okay. So, one word to describe your journey into sports operations.
I think it's a dream. I think, uh, uh, and it's been exhilarating so far. I think probably that's how it's been. And looking forward to what's in store ahead.
Okay. Football operations or cricket operations, which is more complex?
Both are different in its own challenges. One is you're planning through the year. Cricket operations, with the leagues that you're working, the franchise cricket that you're working, you're planning it for 40 days. So it
Okay.
presents different challenges completely. So it won't be fair to say, but you're planning for the year, and there's a lot more. Here it's a lot more dynamic. So I think probably dynamic is the only thing I can say. I think dynamic would be a good word for both the departments.
Okay. Most stressful moment for an operations manager during the WPL season?
When you think everything's gonna go well, there's something that's always gonna come up. So that's the most challenging, when that you need to. I mean, jokes apart, you need to be. The challenging thing is to ensure that you're running it like clockwork. I think the challenge in itself is to. How do I say it? The challenge in itself is to run it like clockwork. Probably that's the challenge. There's so many unforeseen or so many small things that keep happening during a course of a season. Being calm and still running it seamlessly is something that I would say.
Okay. Tougher job, managing auction strategy or managing travel logistics during WPL?
Managing both expectations together, that will be that will be
Nice answer.
that will be more challenging. But again, two different things. One thing, like auction strategy, is probably the first thing, so that's more challenging to start off. Once you have the players in place, then the challenge is to run it in the team. So I think both present great challenges in itself.
Okay. One underrated role inside a franchise that fans don't look about.
I think the logistics manager, very underrated. You don't. I mean, it seems like that's one role that is so critical in cricket operations, about the movement, the bus movement, the travel. Like 1 minute can lead to 30 minutes of traffic, or 2 minutes can lead to
Okay, yeah.
10 minutes of delay. So I think at times it gets overlooked that how critical a role of a logistics manager is of getting the flights on time, getting the bags on time, getting the cars to leave on time, getting the luggages in time. So I think it's one role that often doesn't is not often spoken about, but is very critical.
Okay. Auction day emotion in one word.
Breathtaking. Yeah, it's like it's emotions are, but you're calm, but as soon as you enter the room, it's like it's exciting, but it's a lot of fun, but it's breathtaking. You just look at everything going up and everything you've planned for, and it's breathtaking.
Okay. One young WPL player you think fans should keep an eye on.
I think we've got a very exciting talent in Diya Yadav. I think she's got a double hundred just very recently again in the senior women's one day trophy. She's 16 years old, and I think she's a really exciting talent. I think amongst all, but I think I would just say that at 16 years old, the kind of skills that she has is incredible.
Okay. A player who brings the best dressing room energy in the DC setup.
I would like to say all of them. Yeah. I think that's what has made us. That's what has made us the team that we are today. So
Okay.
it's everyone, and not just the players. The entire support staff. Everyone brings that energy, and it's very difficult otherwise to keep repeating what you're doing. So I think that culture and DC as a family is what keeps us going, and I think that's something that we're really proud of.
Okay, so the next question. Who is the DJ of the Delhi Capitals dressing room?
I think our entire marketing team here, they're all DJs.
Okay.
They know the songs to play every time. So I think we have a fabulous team we have a great marketing team, and they know the music. They know how to set a mood.
Okay. And if not sports operations, what career would you have chosen?
I would like to say that I would be playing cricket on the other side, if not that. But personally, I probably would have also been. I love my time off. I love cooking in my time off. So
Okay.
maybe a chef. You never know.
Nice.
But I'm happy where I am. I'm living my dream. So
Nice. So we'll move to the last segment, that is a photo story segment. So you have to tell about the story about that particular picture.
yeah.
So first one will go with Sachin Tendulkar giving you autograph.
Oh,
that
that
is, I
was
think,
a-
2013 picture.
Oh yeah, that was a child. That was a full circle moment. You know, I remember when we were playing age group cricket, he was there he was giving us player of the game match awards at the end of there, and I was lucky enough to receive one from him.
Oh, nice.
But so that was like a full circle emotional moment for me to, actually meet him, speak to him. Because growing up, you can barely like talking to. It's a dream. But then I could actually meet, speak to him, get an autograph. Was really a full circle moment for me.
Okay. And the last will be that cake cutting photo at DC with Prithvi Shaw, Jagdish Sachet, and Hanuma Vihari.
That was after our win in the eliminator, I think, in 2019 when we qualified for the second qualifier.
Okay.
That was the celebration. That was the celebratory cake cutting after qualifying for the second qualifier in the playoffs. That's during the playoffs. Yes.
Okay. So that's all, Ankul. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your insights from behind the scenes of franchise cricket.
Thank you so much, Pranvit.
To all the listeners, thank you for tuning in. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe Sportsdunia. Till then, this is Pranvit Singh signing off. See you in the next episode.